I'm here today to announce the appointment of David Weiss
We're talking about Hunter
as a
Biden.
special
Hold
counsel,
on.
consistent with the Department of Justice regulations governing such matters. In keeping with those regulations, I have today notified the designated members of each House of Congress of the appointment. In February 2018, after being nominated by the former president and confirmed by the Senate, Mr. Weiss was sworn in as the United States Attorney for the District of Delaware. Mr. Weiss had been a career prosecutor, having served previously in the office for more than a decade. Beginning in 2019, Mr. Weiss, in his capacity as U.S. Attorney and along with federal law enforcement partners, began investigating allegations of certain criminal conduct by, among others, Robert Hunter Biden. That investigation has been recently referenced in federal criminal proceedings in the District of Delaware, and as noted in those proceedings and other public statements by Mr. Weiss's office, that investigation remains ongoing. In February 2021, U.S. Attorney Weiss was asked to remain as U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware and, in that capacity, to continue to lead the investigation. As I said before, Mr. Weiss would be permitted to continue his investigation, take any investigative steps he wanted, and make the decision whether to prosecute in any district. Mr. Weiss has told Congress that he has been granted ultimate authority over this matter, including the responsibility for deciding where, when, and whether to file charges, and for making decisions necessary to preserve the integrity of any prosecution consistent with federal law, the principles of federal prosecution, and departmental policies. In a July 2023 letter to Congress, Mr. Weiss said that he had not to that point requested special counsel designation. On Tuesday of this week, Mr. Weiss advised me that in his judgment, his investigation had reached a stage at which he should continue his work as a special counsel, and he asked to be so appointed. Upon considering his request, as well as the extraordinary circumstances relating to this matter, I have concluded that it is in the public interest to appoint him as special counsel. This appointment confirms my commitment to provide Mr. Weiss all the resources he requests. It also reaffirms that Mr. Weiss has the authority he needs to conduct a thorough investigation and to continue to take the steps he deems appropriate independently, based only on the facts and the law. Mr. Weiss will also continue to serve as U.S. Attorney for the District of Delaware. As special counsel, he will continue to have the authority and responsibility that he has previously exercised to oversee the investigation and decide where, when, and whether to file charges. The special counsel will not be subject to the day-to-day supervision of any official of the department, but he must comply with the regulations, procedures, and policies of the department. Consistent with the special counsel regulations, at the conclusion of Mr. Weiss's work, he will provide me with a report explaining the prosecution or declination decisions reached by him. As with each special counsel who has served since I have taken office, I am committed to making as much of his report public as possible, consistent with legal requirements and department policy.
Oh my God. Okay.
Today's announcement affords the prosecutors, agents, and
What a great way to start the day, man. Fucking love it, dude. I'm always happy to see you're an ATK Andy now. Can't tell if this is like a hater or is just like a fan. Just like is confused as to how this stuff works. I just started streaming, chatter. Gotta be a hater, right? Dude, talk to me when your favorite streamer is at that level, okay? I know, I fell off pretty hard, guys. It's bad. It's over. Only 62,000 subs. Only 18K in the first hour. Yeah, it's my fault, honestly. It's my fault. I should have never fucking started. Oh my god. Wait until the election cycle, bro. It'll get better, I promise. What are you talking about? I'm not upset. Guys, this is 1 hour into the fucking stream. Everybody suck my dick. Shut up. Now you're like giving that fucking weirdo freak exactly what he was looking for. I should have never read that. Holy shit. Literally fucking top 3 in the goddamn world. Okay, I'm fine. I'm doing all right. I hate this so much. I don't want to talk about it, okay? But you can leave. I fixed it. No, you didn't. I did. They think Hank Pecker is a real person? LGBT stands for Lord Guns Bastards Against Tyranny. No Hasan Piker post, no Desuctus, only irony post. Where did you find this? How did you made it, right? There's no shot. You're the one who fucking made this, I assume. Okay. Made yesterday. All right, let's continue.
And analysts working on this matter the ability to proceed with their work expeditiously and to make decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law. The men and women undertaking this investigation are public servants who have dedicated their careers to protecting the citizens of this country. The appointment of Mr. Weiss reinforces for the American people the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters.
I like that. It's never. Let me tell you something. Okay. First of all, most agents, most FBI people, most prosecutors, okay, most judges, due to the Federalist Society and Republican court stacking, are almost always right-wing, okay? Even if they like are supposedly liberal, they're the type of liberal that, you know, loves Ronald Reagan. And most of the time they voted for Republican candidates. They voted for Republican presidents. Now, this is a constant, okay? This is a consistent concept throughout time. And yet, Republicans will always act like whenever a otherwise Republican judge is serving the top of the hour ad break, they'll say, no shot, we're not watching 3 minutes of ads. That's what they'll say. But listen, you don't have to watch those 3 minutes of ads. All you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. I'm fucking back. Okay, we're back. I'm back. I'm on my groove again. Okay, fuck. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a sub. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Now my dad is walking around the house yelling my mom's name, trying to find her in the house. This is awesome. Okay. All right. Well, listen. What was I saying? Okay, so Republicans act like unless you have a dude who's just like an openly psychotic, like out and about pro-Trump guy that is straight up just saying like, no, I think Hunter Biden is like doing cocaine with Joe Biden. Unless that guy is appointed as a special prosecutor onto a criminal misconduct case that pertains to a Democrat, they are never going to be happy. It don't matter. All these guys, including Jim Comey, Mueller, all these guys were all Republican, and they acted like these guys were all libtards, okay? In their minds, in the minds of the Republican Party, it straight up doesn't matter if you have voted Republican your whole life, okay? It doesn't matter if you are voting Republican your whole life, but also have like this, moral compass or a profound sense of justice or whatever, because a lot of these dudes do care. They are institutionalists, unless they are Supreme Court justices, in which case they do not care for the most part. A lot of these people do care about like following the letter of the law, right? To a certain degree. If they prosecute a Republican candidate or Republican president or anything like that, then all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't care if you care about the rule of law. You're a fucking piece of shit. You're no longer a Republican. You're a libtard. We need a guy who won't do that. That's the point. Make no mistake, okay? That's it. In this situation, I'm happy with the special prosecutor. It's fine. But also, it's only being done to shut Republicans the fuck up, who will not shut up regardless. You know what I mean? Like, I have no issues with avoiding improprieties or even like looking like you are one-sided on the circumstance, especially because it is the president's son, right? But it's just hilarious to me that part of the reason why this special counsel is being appointed, and it's one that the Republicans will be, I guess, quote unquote, comfortable with, is so that the Republicans will shut the fuck up and be like, okay, it's fine. We got real justice could be potentially served here. But that's never going to happen. They probably are bitching about the special counsel too. There it is. Okay, there you go. Smith, I think that this should be concerning to all Americans. This is an attempt to whitewash the Biden family corruption. I'm very fearful that appointing the special counsel is just an attempt to stonewall Congress's investigation of the Biden family.
What's your reaction to it? And jumping on the breaking news with us. First, what is your reaction to it?
It's great to be with you, Sandra. I think that this should be concerning to all Americans, that this is an attempt to whitewash the Biden family corruption. I mean, Mr. Weiss is the single architect over that sweetheart plea agreement deal that the judge in Delaware threw out just a few weeks ago as saying it was awful and unfair. There were provisions within that sweetheart plea deal that granted complete immunity to Hunter Biden for these crimes and future crimes, and she even stated that she's never seen anything like that before. And who was the architect of that? Now the person who, Garland, who President Biden's Justice Department just appointed to be special counsel.
Hell yeah.
I am very fearful that appointing the special counsel is just an attempt to stonewall.
The right acts like Hunter Biden's case will cause Joe to resign or get impeached. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, even if Hunter Biden goes to jail, right? Even if he goes to jail, who gives a shit? The fuck? This case doesn't have anything to do, like his separate case, okay? His separate case involving his lying on a form to purchase a weapon while he was still and also having a gun when he was clearly under the influence. Like, all of these things that Republicans normally think is a God-given right for every red-blooded American patriot, by the way, and then some, they're now super mad about. Okay, they're like, wait a minute, he did tax evasion and also had a gun when he shouldn't? Hello? throw the book at him. And I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like, you want to throw this guy in jail over the two things that you love doing the most, okay? Which is waving a weapon around under the influence, and also being allowed to have a gun when you shouldn't have a gun is like a fundamental plank in the conservative mindset, okay? Tax evasion on top of that is like, you just created the conservative starter pack. Just put a little bit of failing to pay child support and domestic abuse on there, and Hunter Biden is like the greatest hog of all time, right? I mean, straight up, this is like the conservative bingo. Drunk driving, having a gun when you're not supposed to, tax evasion, beating your fucking wife, and not paying child support is the 5 pillars of conservatism in the United States of America. Okay? It's perfect. Like, is he running for office in Florida? Because I feel like you need to do those as a check mark. Those are like your objectives when you start in the tutorial mission. As a Republican who wants to become a congressperson in the state of Florida, that's what you got to do. Well, Florida's a little bit different. You also have to engage in a little bit of pedophilia. And as far as we understand, conservatives claim Hunter has done that, but there's no evidence for that whatsoever. He's only had sex with the most 35-year-old looking prostitutes I've ever seen. But you made it sound like he beat his wife. Oh, yeah, he did not. He did not. As far as I know, he has not engaged in domestic abuse. Maybe that's the reason why conservatives don't see him as one of their own. Okay? So all of this stuff is just like things that they're freaking out about, but none of this actually touches Joe Biden. What they want to do is make it seem like him and Joe Biden were doing dealings together, side by side, in Burisma, in Ukraine, in China. That's what they want to make it seem like, but they don't have enough evidence to make it seem like that. So now they're just pumping this side of the equation. Don't forget he fucked his brother's widow. Okay, to be fair, that is like Christ-like. That is the most Christ-like thing you can do. That's straight up in the Bible, dog. Hayır, olması lazım. Bak, boku yedik. Bir tane daha ederim o zaman. Olması lazım. Yok mu? Buldun mu? Doesn't the Bible mandate it? Yeah, that is the most biblical thing you can do.
Congress's investigation of the Biden family.
And jumping on the breaking news.
So, do I think Hunter Biden should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Fox News guy said plea included all future crimes. They really think their audience is stupid. No, you can get a plea bargain like that. You know who else got a plea bargain like that? If there's like additional investigations being conducted. That is it's like a double jeopardy extension. I guess it goes beyond a double jeopardy, but yeah, you can try and cut a plea bargain deal like that. It's given to corrupt nepo babies usually. But that, of course, does not imply that there is like additional misdeeds that are occurring that they are trying to get away with. But ultimately, I don't mind, I don't mind this prosecution. I don't mind him getting like I don't mind him getting actually clapped up for doing things that he's not supposed to do. I hope that we extend this level of care and consideration to all the children of Washington, D.C. vampires. But none of this touches Joe Biden. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, Republicans don't really care about Hunter Biden doing all this stuff. They just want to attack Joe Biden, right? And they want to utilize this as a line of attack against Joe Biden. They want to make it seem like, well, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden actually were, cooking this up together. He's the big guy, right? There was kickbacks happening, blah, 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 blah. But the reality is, as far as we've seen, there has been no evidence of that whatsoever. And the Republicans overall have done something that you normally wouldn't do if you had good evidence. Think about it this way. The UAP stuff, right? They didn't have like airtight evidence, but they had a qualified witness who was, at least in my opinion, willing to lie in front of Congress. So they televised that. They televised that congressional hearing. So why are they cooking up closed-door meetings on this Hunter Biden situation? Because if you think they had some real juice that could genuinely hurt Joe Biden, if they had real evidence that Joe Biden was getting kickbacks from Hunter Biden, blah, 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 they would televise the fuck out of it. They wouldn't hold closed-door hearings. They wouldn't try to massage the narrative. They wouldn't try to, feed misinformation to the Fox News crowd. They would just straight up let you see it. They would rip into Hunter Biden. They would rip into the other witnesses. They would cross-examine them openly in public in broad daylight. That's great clippage. That's really good for all of the Republicans in that committee. That's really good stuff overall, right? Like that's great. You want to look like you're tough on the Biden crime family, right? You want the people to know. Now, the real reason why they're doing the closed door stuff, the real reason why they're doing those meetings and those hearings behind closed doors, so they can kind of lie about it, massage the truth a little bit, release a narrative that is better. But of course, when you do that, it's not as exciting. So you're not going to be able to legitimately get people excited and care about it. Do you see what I mean? Let's hear what Nikki Haley has to say about the Hunter Biden situation.
Chuck Grassley there at the state fair.
I personally think this is a losing issue for them too, to constantly talk about Hunter Biden. I think it's a losing issue. It's not entertaining enough. Every time they talk about Hunter Biden, he looks cool for the most part. And ultimately, you could just say, yeah, he's a fuck up. He's a fail son. But what does this have to do with Joe Biden? Why are you using so much government resources to prosecute, investigate, and jail one fucking nepotism recipient, failed child who, did crack and did everything basically, right? But ultimately, you're talking about a person, like a child that is the son of a president, but not the president himself. And also, a lot of people have fuck ups in their families. Maybe not fuck ups to that degree, or maybe not fuck ups with any kind of capability of trafficking in the name of their laundering their family name to get significant benefits, like being able to go and work at Burisma for a 6-figure salary with no actual business interest or no actual knowledge in the field of energy. But it doesn't matter, Don't the optics of having closed-door meetings also benefit the conspiracy theories that Biden won't allow the people to see the meetings? No, absolutely not. It's Republican run. They're the ones who are making it closed-door meetings. Are you crazy? Yeah. Anyway.
Reacting to the news, how are you responding?
I don't trust it. I don't think the American people trust it. I don't think that the American people trust the Department of Justice or anything this is going to do. I think that this was meant to be a distraction. It's not a distraction. I think the Bidens are on a sinking ship, and I think this is our opportunity to make sure not only that we get a new president in the White House, but that we go and we clean house in the Department of Justice while we're at it.
Pence, Chuck Grassley there at the State Fair, reacting to the news. How are you responding?
That's great. It's not a distraction, I swear. I think it all seems a bit conspiracy theory insanity to the normals. Well, I would say this much. I think like the average conservative, because they watch so much Fox News, probably has like an opinion on this that's not favorable, understandably. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up what Biden has done. It seems like there's a lot of nepotism going on, which is true. That part is real. That part is absolutely 100% true. Hunter Biden had no business getting money from Chinese emissaries. Hunter Biden had no business getting a job at Burisma. He got all of that shit because his last name is Biden and his daddy was vice president at the time. Okay? 100%. Now, that in and of itself, unfortunately, is not illegal. Okay? I wish for a world where that would be illegal. You know what I mean? No Jared Kushner in the White House. No Donald Trump Jr. You know what I mean? Like all of the nepotism children would go away, except, that's like 98% of young DC weirdos is like, related to in some way, shape, or form to another senator or to another congressperson. So that's not happening anytime soon. Wait, is politics all about reacting to other people? Isn't this a big issue? What about the IP? How are you reacting? How are you reacting to this? What? What's happening? What is happening today? Anyway, so overall, good that they have a special counsel appointed here to combat any kind of like narrative that there is some serious, any kind of narrative that there's some serious corruption going on. You know what I mean?
I am confident that Mr. Weiss will carry out his responsibility in an even-handed and urgent manner, and in accordance with the highest traditions.
Yeah, bro said you're stealing from Merrick Garland. How is that allowed? That's the Department of Justice, my dude. Like,
of this department. Thank you.
If you as Attorney Weiss had the authorities he needed, why
You just heard there Attorney General Merrick Garland making a very significant announcement at the Department of Justice that there will be now a special counsel looking into the Hunter Biden matter. It is the same individual, the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, who has been investigating. What it means, though, is that David Weiss, who is the, again, U.S. Attorney in Delaware who's been investigating, will now have more powers than a typical U.S. attorney. It is important to also note that what the Attorney General said was that this is at the request of David Weiss. He requested the powers of the special counsel. A lot to unpack here. I believe that we have Kara Sennell to talk about what this means. Kara, take it away.
Yeah, Dana, I mean, an unexpected announcement today by the Attorney General Merrick Garland appointing David Weiss, who has been overseeing this investigation, as a special counsel. So as Garland said, that will allow David Weiss.
I don't know. Like, who do they want? Like, who do they want? The Republicans, I mean, like, who would they be comfortable with if they were the ones if Donald J. Trump should be the special counsel appointed to this? Like, is that we should have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has no legal education whatsoever, to be the special counsel appointed here. so that she can kill him with a Beretta 50 cal, and that would be justice. And then she also shoots through him. She like lines up a Beretta 50 cal and shoots through both Hunter and Joe Biden as punishment. Only then would we be happy, and that is how justice would be served. To be fair, if they put Marjorie Taylor Greene on that special counsel, she would be fucking Hunter Biden so quick, everyone's heads would spin. Let's be real. She loves it, okay? She is 100%. She loves doing polyamorous shit. They'd be having the grossest tantric sex. They both be doing crack. Anyway, let's continue.
The ability to investigate this independently. It will allow him to investigate anywhere he needs to. There had been questions about venue in this case because he is the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, and some of the conduct or alleged conduct had taken place in other jurisdictions. It's also a bit of a reversal because both Garland and David Weiss had previously said he didn't ask for special counsel status and all the authority that he needed in this case. But now, according to Garland, Weiss asked for that status on Tuesday, and he was granted that. So as Garland said, it will also mean that David Weiss will be providing a report with any prosecution decisions or declinations at the end of this. And this is something that the House Republicans had been raising as a question here because there were IRS whistleblowers who'd come forward saying that some of their investigative efforts were stymied during this multi-year investigation. So it is something that House Republicans have been scrutinizing, and appointing a special counsel could alleviate some of that scrutiny, but it raises a lot of questions about just what else they might be investigating. I mean, I noted that Garland had said that they will be able to investigate criminal conduct by Hunter Biden, among others. That is a question here of who else they might be looking into. And remember, this investigation had spanned some 5 years and had looked at broad conduct, including foreign lobbying, including potential money laundering, and it had narrowed into the guilty plea that they had reached last month that fell apart in the court hearing. And just now, Dana, we're getting word, I'm looking at a court filing where prosecutors asked the judge to vacate her order asking them to come back and work out their guilty plea because, as they write, this is the prosecutors writing in this motion to the judge that, that order was set in place as they were continuing to work toward a guilty plea. They write, but that is no longer the case. Following additional negotiations after the hearing held on July 26, 2023, the parties are at an impasse and are not in agreement on either a plea agreement or a diversion agreement. Therefore, the government believes the court's briefing order should be vacated. So, that shows us that this deal that they were working toward on tax misdemeanor charges and a diversion on a gun possession is now being torn up. And this investigation is now continuing with the appointment of a special counsel who has broad powers, Dana.
And that really is the key here. That was the turning point, Kara. What happened in that courtroom, that federal courtroom in Delaware, when the Hunter Biden legal team thought they were walking in with Hunter Biden. David Weiss and his team walked in. They had planned to just kind of get a stamp on this plea deal for a couple of misdemeanors and a tax charge that would be diverted down the road. And then it all blew up and it all fell apart for various.
The special counsel news overshadows yesterday's news about the whistleblower saying exactly what Lev Parnas has been saying about Hunter Biden being targeted by Burisma and drugged by Giuliani's Russian goons. Does nobody think that's crazy? That the Fox News pundit Dr. Keith Ablow had one of Hunter Biden's laptops? I mean, I wish people would understand what that means so we can just be done with this. The whole thing is tired. Are you okay? I learned about Fox News pundit Dr. Keith Ablow having Hunter Biden's laptop from watching a TYT segment. I'll send you the link if you want to watch it because I saved it. That's how crazy the story is. What? This is leftist QAnon? No, it's right-wing QAnon. It's another extension. It's not as entertaining as QAnon, but it's like, that's actually kind of the problem. That is partially the reason why it hasn't taken a lot of, it hasn't really been like that good of a rallying cry for people. Like there's not enough momentum behind it. But basically, that person is saying that it's weird that, people had access to Hunter Biden's laptop, blah, 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 whatever. And the laptop did circulate through weird ass hands to get to Fox News and New York Post in general. Is it a hard take to expect accountability on both sides? I mean, I am fully in favor of that. Make no mistake. I think Hunter Biden should serve the time for his crimes. Absolutely. And I do want that same level of care and consideration afforded to the Republican Party and their nepotism fail sons as well. There's plenty more Democrats out there that could get the smoke as well. The issue, on the other hand, is that this is simply a one-sided affair that the Republicans have greatly just tried to weaponize against Joe Biden, and they failed to do so. So it's just not really going anywhere.
Yes, reasons. Fair to say that it was because of that we are where we are.
I mean, Dana, it certainly seems that way. Both the prosecution and Hunter Biden's team, you know, they walked into that courtroom today with a deal that they had signed and agreed upon. I mean, they shook hands in the courtroom at the start of the proceeding, and they actually signed the paperwork then. Now, it was the judge that was pushing and asking questions about it. And where that first hit the snag was about the scope of this tax agreement.
Exactly.
You know, Hunter Biden's team believed that it covered everything that the prosecutors were looking into, including foreign lobbying, including money laundering. And prosecutors said that wasn't the case. It was narrowed to just taxes, to gun, and to drug charges. In the live moments, though, Hunter Biden's team then said, okay, fine, we'll agree to that. And they were moving forward with what appeared to be the guilty plea, but then the diversion agreement on the gun possession hit a snag because the judge raised questions about whether it was constitutional. And that's when she said to both sides, you have 30 days to go back and try to work this out. And the big question has been, would they still agree to those?
What are the taxes charges? I think tax evasion. Isn't this just a fishing expedition? Of course it is. But there's two separate people here, okay? Throwing the book at Hunter Biden and putting him in jail permanently for the rest of his life doesn't mean anything if there is no connection to Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, okay? Beyond just the fact that Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son. Okay? That's the situation. Like, even if this goes through and the special prosecutor finds like additional issues or whatever with respect to Hunter Biden, unless they somehow find real evidence that links Hunter Biden to Joe Biden. Because even if they found out that like Hunter Biden straight up was like getting bribes or whatever and didn't actually declare that he was a foreign agent, right? Like he was working at the behest of foreign corporations, which, by the way, ironic because many people in D.C. don't do this and they absolutely pick and choose, right? They absolutely pick and choose who they apply this to, which they should apply to every single person. Okay? Paul Manafort got in trouble for this. Michael Flynn got in trouble for this. You know, this is common practice for the most part. There was a rapper from like the 90s, remember, who was operating as a foreign agent to the Chinese government. It's yet another one of those situations where like it's something that most people do. It's something that a lot of people do, and then you know, you make a big fuss about it. Pros of the Fugees, yeah. Wait, really? Is there a video on this? Yeah. Like people sometimes work with foreign governments and don't properly declare that they're working with foreign governments. And I mean, it happens all the time. It is fucked up. There are rules in place for a reason. I don't know why they don't. I don't know why they don't like prosecute this across the board. But yeah, here.
One of the founders of the hip hop group.
I don't want to sidetrack even further. Anyway, regardless, listen, this is something that a lot of Americans do. American lobbyists do. It doesn't mean that they're like spying or anything. You know what I mean? But it just means that they're working with a foreign government without properly documenting their affairs. And it's illegal. You're not supposed to do that, but plenty do. Most lobbyists do it. And depending on how much in the public spotlight they are, their charges vary from actually going to prison all the way to like a small fine or whatever. Some of this could just be to make Joe Biden generally weaker as a father. Wouldn't you be sad and less effective at your job? Brother, Joe Biden is already a husk, a corpse, a cadaver that they're moving around. What do you mean weaker? Oh, man, I'm so sad my son Hunter Biden is in jail. Like, okay. He's like 800 years old. So, as I was saying, the biggest charge would be that Hunter Biden is operating as a foreign agent, right? And he didn't properly disclose it. I think you could probably hit him on that. I don't know the exact details. I don't know in what capacity he was actually working with these foreign companies, and I don't know what kind of access he had to Congress, or I don't know what kind of lobbying efforts he actually engaged in. So depending on what it looks like on the American side and what it looks like on the foreign national side, like what his job was, you can maybe make that stick. However, once again, what does that have to do with Joe Biden is the question, right? Because I don't think Republicans give a shit about like tossing Hunter Biden in jail. They care about tossing Hunter Biden in jail with Joe Biden, right? Like they don't give a shit about Hunter Biden in of itself because it's just a means to an end. The end being Joe Biden. That's why this investigation coming to an end, not this investigation from January 6th, but the Hunter Biden investigation coming to a close and all the closed-door meetings that they've had have been major duds. And it's gotten a lot of Republicans frustrated because they think, well, why isn't Hunter Biden being prosecuted by this judge for other stuff like, dealing with Joe Biden illegally or taking money from Burisma and then, kicking it up to the big guy. Like they built this narrative around Hunter Biden that was much, much worse than the actual situation on the ground. So now now a lot of Republicans are just like shocked at the lack of charges. They're like, what? Tax evasion and gun charges? The fuck do you mean? There's got to be something more here. And because of what's going on with because of what the Republican media apparatus is covering versus what is actually happening with like Republicans in Congress and their ongoing investigations and closed door meetings, or the actual court case, revolving around Hunter Biden, the reality doesn't match the narrative that Fox News is putting out there. So people are just like a little confused, and so they think, oh, it's just more corruption. What else is new, right?